up, everyone? It's Liz. I'm here with a wonderful panel, some of the best casters from all across the region, and today we're going to talk about some fun topics as the Swiss round for M6 is happening in 2 days, right? A lot of exciting things. Now, with the Swiss round this time, this is the first time we had this in the world stage, has it?
In history.
In history.
First time.
Yeah, and it's very different from what we usually see in group stage. And what do you guys think is the most shocking element that's going to happen this year?
I guess with the Swiss stage, I think that best of ones makes it a little more exciting.
Yes.
I think that's the main thing. So there can be a lot of upsets, I guess, and maybe there's like a strategy to it as well. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of cheese picks for sure, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of pocket picks as well. So I think it's going to be really surprising because it's best of one, like you said, right? A lot of upsets can happen, and I don't know, the losers, we kind of had this conversation a bit also. The fact that some teams can actually strategize and lose first round, maybe. If they, like, let's say they play towards the end, they see some of the worst teams go to the losers, they'll just lose and get an easy draw for 1-1, no?
But here's the thing. Looking at the 16 in the Swiss, heartbreak is imminent. Because they're so strong. Like, I'm trying to think of who my 8 are going to knockouts. It's not an easy decision. So this whole, some might lose, want to go down. I think it's very possible. I think it's very real. But just the same, are you going to risk it?
Yeah.
I'll be real with you, I disagree with that. I think that it's a bad idea to actually go down.
Exactly.
Here's why.
Yeah.
If people pull it up, you can pull up the clip right here of the all the teams that are playing. At the very bottom, this one, bottom here, a lot of editing for you, Mr. Mao. TLID versus FNOP.
Yeah.
One of those teams is going down to the 0-1.
They're
You
going to ruin
gotta
that.
gotcha it, bro. You gotta gotcha it.
gotcha.
You just like, you either go against like the other teams or TLIDF not.
Look, it's not good because regardless if it so happens to not be in your favor, you could lose your first one on purpose. Imagine if you did, right? And then afterwards you have to face off against TLID or FNOP, and then you're going into the 0-2, you only have one opportunity to make it all the way.
X1.
The X1.
Yeah. Also, look, S2G SRG, that's also lethal.
Yeah.
So you're going in with the Sharks, bro.
Yeah, that's why I think it's like, is it high IQ to lose or no?
At least though, when you go 0-2, you know you're gonna go up against, at least the worst teams and best of 3. It's like a little bit of a safety net once you get to best of 3.
And I mean, you can always pull a BTK and just come back from the very bottom.
Yeah.
So it could happen, but with the draws that we saw this time with the first round, it's going to be a tough round for all the teams. And this year, something very different is a lot of the familiar faces that we've been seeing a lot in the world stage are not here.
Yeah.
Were you guys shocked with your individual regions who made it? I mean, for Malaysia, SRG made it. They are the reigning champs for MSC. But for the other regions, a lot of surprises this season.
I would say at least for myself, we said this a lot on broadcast over in the Philippines. I was rather surprised that, Fnatic Onyx was dominant all season, so that was kind of expected. But I was personally surprised with how clutch like Aurora turned out to be, especially towards the end. Like, I knew they were going to be a good team, but I didn't expect them to do what they did, and so that was my biggest surprise from region.
Yeah, especially when they went to the lower bracket against Falcons AP Bren. I could have sworn that was going to be it, right? Fnatic and Falcons, but yeah, I think Aurora is the great equalizer when it comes to whatever other bracket they find themselves in, whether it be in Swiss or in the knockouts. Because even Fnatic Onyx, they look at Aurora and say that's the team that we're scared of the most. So, as tournament favorites alongside SRG, you gotta respect that.
Yeah, I agree. Even though when they announced their roster, I was like, yeah, Aurora's probably gonna make it to M Series. After seeing the season, I was like, oh man, that's crazy how they actually did it. But for Indo, it's even more surprising, I think, Onyx not making it to the World Championship. It's crazy to think that, this team has been representing Indo since M3, bro. M3, MSC 2022, M4, MSC 2023, M5, and MSC 2024, but they're not here anymore. Yeah, so Liquid RRQ, I think based on the standings, we kind of expected RRQ and Liquid, but because they were so new and there were so many rookies, it's literally a new roster for both of them. Not a lot of people predicted them to actually make it to M6. I think more for RRQ than Liquid. Liquid really surprised us. In the middle of the season joining, and with how bombastic these players are, we thought, all right, mentally, they're not going to be ready for playoffs. Turns out we were all wrong, so I'm very excited to see Liquid on the world stage, bro.
And since you brought Liquid up,
RRQ.
they're going up against Fnatic Onyx PH. How do you guys feel about that matchup?
Favion.
King Kong.
The Beast?
King Kong is a beast, but
He is the Beast.
Favion.
He's got that finesse. He's got that finesse in the jungle.
And we got Weedy the Wise as well, man. We all right. We all right. I think we can take him.
If you're going lane to lane, I think that's a bad idea. You're gonna come to a point where like, yeah, never mind.
That's why we don't go lane to lane. We go Angeling. We merge too.
I mean, I personally think that at the very least amongst these two teams, it's going to be a good showing, right? I think this is going to kind of set the standard for the rest of what Swiss stage is expected to reach in terms of like, oh, this is the benchmark, this is the ceiling that everybody needs to get close to because these are not only the favorites, but looking to be some of the better teams. I mean, I want to say, sorry to our Filipino friends here, that Fnatic Onyx is going to take this away, but like, after what Aurora did to like TLPH, and now I got to back the other horse, so I'm going to say TLID. I gotta go with TLID for this one. I have to. I mean, I have to. I have to. It's been 3 years. It's been like what, two to almost 3 years at this point that I'm with TL. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not with the organization, but a fan.
The other TL.
Of the other TL. I mean, I'm a fan of the organization as a whole, and it's great to see that even TLID is doing very, very well. But at the cost of TLPH, that's what hurts me. So hopefully, maybe it's going to be a good showing, and especially for the rookies as well. A majority of them want to prove themselves. So I'm expecting people to go above and beyond.
And what are some of the dark horses that you expect for this matchup across all the regions?
Oh, boys.
BTK. Sorry.
BTK?
Okay. Amongst us three, on three, we all say it at the same time.
Okay.
Oh wait, so do I add to it? Or do I
I mean, we already know what yours is.
BTK. You just said it just like BTK. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Team Spirit.
Whoa! BTK.
I'm not gonna lie, I really thought we were all gonna be together on this one. Wait, why?
STG?
I
said Team Spirit.
Yeah, I said TS. Team Spirit.
S2G.
What'd you say?
I said Ulfednar. Are Ulfednar considered dark horses though? Because I think everybody's kind of expecting them to
I
be
feel
good.
like just the name makes it a dark horse, but
Yeah, but we know they're good. We know they're top 4 material.
Okay, question. How many years do you have to be in the M series and be considered a dark horse to eventually break out of that moniker?
You have to break top 4.
Okay, so they haven't.
Exactly. They're still a dark horse.
Yeah.
As much as I love that main 5, as much as I love Incendio, Fireflux Impunity, Ulfednar, they've proven themselves. I think they're still very strongly in dark horse territory, which is the same for S2G. And I think now, maybe S2G weighs a little bit more because they knocked out Ulfednar in their playoffs. They beat him in the grand finals finally after 3 years of dominance.
Yeah.
So if you saw how Ulfednar was strong in the wildcard and how they dominated that, what more the team who actually was a champion?
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot, considering how the rest of the regions have been kind of playing out, especially previous champions. I feel like a lot of them kind of took their locals a lot more relaxed, and I think maybe that's why we saw a lot of the hungrier teams start to overtake them later down the line. But more importantly, I think that at the very least, I've been hearing that Team Spirit. Their scrim,
Spicy.
apparently their scrim results have been really good. I have no idea what the scrim result, but based on what I've heard, they've been doing really, really well in their scrims.
You know,
so
they must be, because this morning they were out playing ping pong.
I was in Sawa playing. Yeah.
So I saw them out there playing ping pong. I was like, hey, they must be locked in. So
Yeah, no, I've heard that too. I really think Spirit can be the dark horse too, but if I had to choose, I would choose Ulfednar over Spirit, just because Ulfednar, they've been here longer. You know, it looks like they have way more experience too, and they've been a bit more consistent, I feel.
I think the whole taking their playoffs or local regional event doesn't stand, because why would you do that when it's wild card on the line? It's too big. It's too big, and it's more of just that specific event. It's more of the years that led up to that. So finally, after 3 years, you're finally able to take down the one team that was owning. But yeah, no, we'll see, because the last time we saw S2G Ulfednar, it was miles away, right? It was light years between S2G and Ulfednar. So maybe the 4-2 was tight, but just the same, I want to see new stars from Turkey. That's why I'm so on S2G.
And for Merkel, you mentioned Ulfednar is the dark horse for you. They're playing up against BTK for the first round of the Swiss round. What do you feel about that matchup? We know you're a BTK fan.
It sucks. It sucks. I'm a fan of BTK and Ulfednar. Apex is gonna give me his jersey. Zane's gonna give me his jersey. 50-50, man. I don't know what's no.
You gotta be careful. He might not give you his jersey.
That's true. Hey, Zane, you gotta give me. I've had this book from M3, and he's not given me the jersey yet. All right, but yeah. Seriously though, I think on paper it's a similar kind of story to like C9 BTK. On paper, Ulfednar look better. On paper, their roster looks better. Their games have looked more decisive. I haven't seen BTK scrim, so I don't know. But BTK has got that dog in them, you know? For some reason, every time this team performs on stage, they do really well. So I'm hoping they both make it to the top 8. But if I have to say my prediction, no, I'm not gonna predict. Never mind.
Don't predict.
Yeah.
Don't bless
No. Ulfednar, BTK, amazing, horrible teams. We'll just try to reverse it or something. Yeah.
Do you guys think the best out of ones, like for the Swiss rounds, are going to benefit any particular team?
Oh, easily.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one team that we can all agree was pretty shocking during wildcards as a region, right? From wildcards and coming into the Swiss stage has to be China.
Yeah, China.
I think DFYG, and KBG. You got to keep a close eye on these teams because you don't know. Because especially in the best of one, I think this is the best odds for KBG to get a pretty decent slot coming into the knockouts.
Yeah, I'll say now, the micro-centric teams, the teams like the team fight, and teams that don't need the warm-up, the teams that just like win here. 1 + 1 is equal to 2. Those teams do better, and I think BTK would do well in the best of one.
That's why I'm going with BTK, just because I think with the best of one, like that's where they're gonna shine a lot. But also with KBG, because of how impressive DFYG was and how much improvement they made, like all the casters were in unison. Like earlier this year, I remember even back in M5's wildcard, we were like, dude, give China the region like a year, and they're gonna improve so much. And they clearly did, right? Based off wildcard. So now I think all of us too are really excited to see what KBG does throughout the Swiss stage.
You know, I actually kind of disagree about the BTK thing. I don't think they're gonna do well in the best of one.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
Based on the track record of BTK, M3, they lose in groups. They get saved by lower brackets. M4, same thing. Just earlier in the grand finals, if it was a best of 3, best of 5, it's over, bro. Like, for some reason, they need time to actually warm up.
But when they're up against the wall is when they're best performing. So
That's true.
you imagine this is the only lower bracket, this is your only life. They're forced to perform.
I'm with Leo on this one. I think they will. If worst comes to worst, there's only 2 outcomes. Either they're 3-0 their entire group, or they go 0-2 and then eventually go 3-2.
X2 is their home. The X2 bracket. BTK's gonna eat everyone.
That's why,
So for Gideon, you come from the home Malaysia,
Yes.
The hometown.
and we're from a lot of other regions. Now, for Malaysian fans that are going to be in the crowd, which other region do you think they're going to be cheering for, or which other teams are they cheering for in that stage?
Which one?
Oh, that's a good one.
Careful.
Careful.
Whoa.
Careful.
This is gonna be clipped.
Personally, for me, I think I think that a lot of Malaysians, as much as they want to support Malaysian teams, I think that goes without saying that we want to support Malaysian teams. I think there's going to be a good amount of people coming out for some of the bigger games, especially like the staple teams like TLID, Fnatic Onyx PH. I think there's also a decent amount of like BTK fans that probably will show. I'm not even joking about this. I've received a lot of DMs about the ticketing specifically, and they were asking, does the ticket cover the entire day? Because I want to watch BTK, but I'm not sure when they're going to be playing exactly. And this was before the schedule came out. So I think that a lot of Malaysian fans are going to be coming in to support their personal favorite teams. But if it has a Malaysian flag on it, they're going to show up no matter what.
And who do you think is the most popular team or region in Malaysia besides Malaysia itself? PH?
I think it has to be major regions, Indonesia and as well as the Philippines. Actually,
Must be split.
no. I feel like it'll be skewed because if it's like as soon as you see the RRQ show up and the Aurora show up, that's when the fan bases get involved, and then it dilutes the data.
That's a good question. What's bigger in Malaysia, the Kingdom or the Auroras?
I think the Kingdom.
Yeah.
By a long shot.
You can never challenge the Kingdom.
I don't think you can challenge. Like the kingdom is just too.
Yeah. I mean, MSC 2022, RQ basically had home ground advantage.
That's
true.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't think you can beat. Yeah, I don't think you can beat the kingdom in terms of that fan base.
So what is that, like 50, 20, 2010?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that would probably be its best bet. Well, I was going to say China was probably going to be like Malaysia's might come out to support them as well. Yeah, as proxy, you know, because there was Sasa and as well as Long, both Malaysian players now in the coaching staff of DFYG. So by proxy, now that they're out, KBG is the next to go to. Even, I mean, technically, Malaysian fans know Saksa as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
That's such a weird thing. He's Filipino, but Malaysians love him. But at the same time, he's playing on the Chinese team.
Mr. Worldwide.
Dale duro.
How do you think the crowd is gonna react when BTK walking that stage?
What else you want me to? What else you want me to do? Like how many fingers I can fit up my butt? Like, jeez. I don't know. I think it's going to be a very mixed reaction. I know our security is good, so nobody's rushing that stage.
What's the vibe check?
The vibe check, I feel like they might get booed. To be fair, you know, the initial reaction. I mean, it could go both ways. It depends on how many of the BTK fans show up on the stage, well, on the day itself, right?
Drown out the booze.
To drown out the booze, because there's only so many seats, and if they miss out their opportunity to get in, then, well, one side might be louder than the other.
When was the last time we heard of audible boo? Was that M4?
And MSC. SRG got booed.
SRG got hella booed.
Now, if a Malaysian team will be going up, if a Malaysian team goes up against BTK, I think for sure they're gonna get booed.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Audibly.
Yeah.
Audibly, very audibly. It'll come through our mics.
But we'll have a full house regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on a closing note, guys, are there something fun or exciting that we should look out for coming in for the Swiss stage?
Can you say that again?
Anything fun or exciting that we should look out for coming in for the Swiss stage?
Tianzi. That's for me. I think Tianzi is an assassin god. He's really good.
I'm just gonna say because he's been my favorite player ever since I got into MPL. Demon Kite. I think he's gonna be a very. I think he'll get a lot of eyes on him after this M6.
Kid Bomba. It's been a while since we last saw him. So I think after what happened, the Bombonatics MY, prepare for it to be established. I have a new iPad now that you can sign to be part of the group. Bombonatics. So you come to me and I'll make you part of the manifesto.
I think I have to say Kid Bomba as well. I know a lot of Malaysian fans like his personality. His like, he is so unfiltered. He is very much a funny dude.
Yeah.
All built. He's just a bundle of joy to be around, honestly. Even if you see him in person. So I think, yeah, he'll be a fun person to watch.
And on the last note.
Wait, one more from TS. Nico. I think this kid is insane. I think this kid is so good.
Yeah, absolutely. And on a closing note, which teams do you want to see face up against each other in the Swiss rounds in the later stages?
SRG versus BTK, Vamos versus BTK. Malaysia versus BTK. I want to see that. You just imagine how hype it is.
Yeah. I want to see Fnatic Onyx versus SRG. I'm gonna go straight for the top shelf. Just.
I was gonna say Aurora. I want to see Aurora SRG.
I've got a fun flavor. I'm gonna go KBG versus Ulfendar or S2G. Oh, that would be kind of sick.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah.
Right?
Turkey versus China.
Yeah, that will be super exciting. Guys, the Swiss rounds will happen in 2 days, and be sure to be hype and make sure to join us in our later broadcasts. See ya!